LaRon Harris from Atlantic Records. Hey, happy birthday, Ms. Lean. 08. Happy birthday to you. Good afternoon, DT Music. All right, let's check the time here. Just talked to J-Dee, so I know he's on standby. I slept in late. I never sleep late. Ever, never, never. I'm a get up early in the morning type chick, but I tell you, today I slept in. Unusual, but you know, when you're tired, you're tired. There he is. Hey.
Terry.
How are you?
Bless you.
I'm great. I'm so excited you could join us today.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
No, it's all good. So, okay, let's show the hat before you turn it to the back.
Let's go.
All right, cool. Now this is a brand. Where can people find it?
Big Cartel. It's in LaRon's bio.
Okay.
At LaRon Harris. So you got the Be Humble brand. So just supporting, man, always.
Yeah, I was gonna put on my Empire hoodie that you and B Simpson sent, but it's kind of hot here in Houston, so I'm like, I don't know, I'll be sweating looking crazy by the end. So for today anyway. So first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's tapping in and who went ahead and clicked the reminder in my bio and JD's bio about the session today. So really what we're trying to do is sow some good seeds of knowledge with free games. So first and foremost, for some of you, this is your first time having an opportunity to meet JD. So I just want you to talk a little bit just about your background and, you know, how you came to be in the music business.
Background, I came from, it's crazy. So LaRon, I know you had him on here the other day. That's one of my mentors. And so I came from the party world, like throwing all the parties, big promoter in Detroit. And then I jumped into the management world. So I managed a few people. The last person I was working with before Empire was T Grizzly. I was his road manager. And then LaRon brought an opportunity for me to, with Mo Landy, to come over to Empire. So from there, I jumped in and I started doing urban. And then I met Brian. Well, I already knew Brian, but me and Brian, we were in Dominican Republic, I think. It's like, I think you'd be good working the rhythmic side. And so Brian is the kind of person that he just took me hands on and just kind of just gave me the game, taught me the game, you know. I'm not necessarily gonna say let me make mistakes, but just coach me through a lot of mistakes. So this is it's a huge game. You know what I'm saying? You got to really know how to work this, how to do the work. Communication is beyond what I thought it needed to be in this industry. You know, so I came from the management world, then came over here and started doing the radio. Ended up, you know, buying my own business, starting my own label. So that's really how I got into everything.
Let's talk a little bit about the other businesses that you have, and then I do want to touch back on the communication because I think that's a great place to start. So you are what I would say is a serial entrepreneur. So besides, you know, working with Empire and doing your thing with Empire, you're also somebody who has outside business ventures as well. As we know, you know, in order to create real wealth and a legacy for your family, I know you have a daughter, so I will mention that. No names though, but you have a beautiful daughter because we protect privacy at all costs. But you have a beautiful daughter and you're trying to create a legacy. And we know that in order to create a legacy of wealth, it's important to have multiple revenue streams. So share a little bit about the other ventures that you have. You have the label, and what other things are you into from an entrepreneurship standpoint?
Yeah, so we got a label, it's Live the Music Group, based out of Detroit, Michigan. So we got 5 artists signed to that, and we're just working, you know, just doing the groundwork first before we approach anything else. I do the health and wellness business that I've been doing for like about a month now. It's great, not only money, but just to help people and help other people make money too, especially in this time of need. So, and it's crazy, and I think this is where mentors fall in place. Like, I'm actually in the service business, so and no matter what I do, it's not about a dollar with me. Money doesn't move me. Helping people do, you know, because that's how I got where I'm at. Everybody in my life has played a role in uplifting me, and none of that has been like here you go, here you go, here you go. It's kind of been with knowledge, information, and power that has allowed me to do things, you know. So with everything that I'm a part of, that's kind of what I look at. You know, it's not about the amount of money we can make; it's about the lives that we can change, the lives that we can impact. You know, so I got the label. We just opened a multimedia facility in Detroit, 5,000 square feet, called the Village. So right there, you we have studios in there where people can record, but in the building it's kind of like a WeWork space where you can come in. It's like a Soho house, and that's our example of that. So you can come in, network with people, meet people, build relationships, learn about publishing, learn about trademarks, learn about producer agreements, all the little things, marketing, the things that once person makes a record, the things that all this got to come into place to make it work, you know. So we're creating that in Detroit because we have a lot of talent that's coming out, and a lot of them are signed to Empire, but they don't know the business. They know how to record music, and then by the time they learn the business, now they got to go back and backtrack and fix things. You know, now a producer wants more money for this, or this wasn't clear, or that wasn't clear. You know, so we're really educating people on the business.
I love that, and that's a huge part of the reason that I do free game. You know, over at the radio. Well, shoot, my entire life actually. You know, I've just been a person who was fortunate because I had people who sewed into me and taught me the business. And so, in order to honor those people, you know, I really take it to my heart to try to sow seeds back, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's important. I think everything is balance in the universe, and to whom much is given, much is required. So let's dial it back a little bit. I love that you said the communication word. We're in a business of communication. I'm in the radio and media side of things. You're in the record side of things. And just in anything in life, being an entrepreneur, business person, communication is key. Talk about some of the challenges that you personally faced for yourself with learning the art of communication, and maybe a couple of best practices that you've learned along the way.
Well, I learned the hard way. Like, if you know Brian or you know Mo, or
I do, closely.
Listen, they don't take it easy on you. Expectations, no. You know, it's hard to get in this business, but it's easy to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? So I got a position that a lot of people want, prayed for, wished for, and I was blessed to get the position. So now with that, like you said, to whom is given, much is required. So doing enough is never just enough in this business. You know, it's a numbers business. You know, so me saying that I called somebody on the phone and they didn't answer, that doesn't suffice, right? So initially I thought it did. I could be like, hey, Brian, I called, they didn't answer. Did you text them? Did you email them? You know, and that's what we live by is text, call, email. Like, we're not just going to just do one. We got to cover your ass. You know, make sure that you exhausted all possibilities of communication with this person. And sometimes, you know, we want feedback or an answer. And so if you're not doing the things to get that, then I can't give my boss the information, and he can't give his boss the information, which makes him look bad. And nobody wants to look bad in this business, you know. So I had to learn the hard way. He got on my ass about it, you know, and from there, I just learned, like, my whole day consists of this phone. You know, I deal with DJs, program directors, music directors, radio personalities across the country every day. So I have to make sure that I have a goal every day to make sure I'm going through at least 50 people that I'm contacting, whether it's my DJs, my PDs, and a lot of that is just to say hi sometimes. It's not even about business. It's just, how are you doing? How the kids doing? You know, like, how you going through with this corona? You know, like, there's a lot of stuff just to tap in because the relationships are more impactful and important than money or what you can do for somebody in this time, you know. So communication is key. And a lot of people pick up my calls or my texts. Even like anybody knows Terry, you know that everybody can't get a hold of Terry. Like, that was the first thing when I first met you and you were speaking. You were up there with 3 other powerful people, and that said a lot about who you are and what you are. You know, that was the first time I got the experience of what an honor to meet you and just learn from you. You know, but everybody doesn't have access to you, and I'm sure if I came to you just talking business and you never met me, I wouldn't have the privilege of doing a free game with you, or just, you know, whatever it is, you know. So I think with a lot of people, they think that it's just business. You got to understand, you got to build with a person to get up to that point, you know. So
I think that's a great point. And let me just say, you know, this is a business that seems to feel oftentimes a business of taking and not giving, right? Definitely. And so for people that are in a position, you're in a position, I'm in a position, you know, oftentimes there's people that are approaching us about what they want from us. It's an extraction, right? And
Right.
I'm a spiritual person. Anybody who follows me on the gram, y'all know that. That's not a surprise here, but everything in the universe is balance. It is a give and take. And even with the give and the take, a lot of people come and they want to extract and take and take and take and take. But networking 101, building a business relationship 101, is that everything in life is balance, right? It's give and it's take. Now, and let me clarify, because this is my pet peeve, so I'll clarify this 5 million times when we do these sessions, is I'm not saying pay me some money, payola, plugola, that's some crap. If you're an artist and you ever have, if somebody in a radio station ever says, unless you're buying an advertising schedule that's of your own free will, if anybody's got a handout trying to take some money from you to play your record, run the other way.
Right.
Run. Because as soon as that money dries up, so does your airplay. And that's my pet peeve. Earn the opportunity to get airplay the right way. So, but everything in life is give and take. Everything in life is balance. Would you do me a favor? I see a variety of people tapping in, and I love just a variety of people from different walks of life here. Talk specifically about what your role is at Empire, at the label. What specifically do you do? How do you work with artists? What's your job?
Well, the thing about Empire, what I love, my title is the National Mix Show Promo Rep. So like I oversee a lot of, I'm under Brian Sampson. Brian is our head of rhythmic, so I do urban and rhythmic. And the thing I love about Empire is that they allow you to get in where you fit in. As long as you're doing your job, you can still do A&R stuff. You can still do marketing ideas. You can still be a creative and bring more to the company. But my primary thing is just make sure that not necessarily that our records are being played so much, but there's awareness with the records, because the thing about this is there's so much music out here. You got to create a story. In order for me to bring you in a top 5 market, so in order for me to bring any record to you, it has to have some type of story behind it. It ain't just about how good the record is, because if you got a Nia Lamise record, let's say, when you got a Beyonce record, like, the people want to hear Beyonce. As good as a Nia record may be, they want to hear Beyonce. But I have a fighting chance if I can tell you, well, it's Shazam in top 5 in your market, Terry, and that all these kids at all these high schools love her. We build a story up, right? So, well, a lot of us, we try to make sure that we get to the street DJs, to the high school DJs, and make sure that they're playing this record and there's awareness, there's branding at this point in some time. So, with me, I'm just making sure that all the DJs have the record, all the PDs, all the MDs, that they're familiar with the record. And if it's something that fits and you can support because we have a story behind it or just because you believe in it, then you'll take that chance on it. So just mainly just generating awareness, trying to get as many spins as we can, whether it's in the club, in the radio, in the DTLRs, just, make sure that our records are in everybody's face. Once you're aware of something, you're a little more receptive of it, especially if the product is good.
So you have two interesting perspectives. One as somebody who's working for, some people would say Empire's independent, but it's a major label. Empire's done so much and moved so much in the business. They're a major. They've earned the right. Empire, Ghazi, everything that's happened in there. Definitely a major label. So you have that perspective, and then you also have the perspective of being an owner of a label who's got a small boutique amount of artists, just 5 artists, as you mentioned. So what I see there's some artists here, some aspiring artists here. What are some things that you look for? What are some things the majors look for, and what are some things that you look for as the independent label owner, when it comes to signing somebody?
With me, it's a work ethic and it's a mentality. I think I just see somebody right here. They just wrote that if Ania's record is hot, play it. That means you don't really understand the business first and foremost, because people have jobs, and if you just play something and it's people are not receptive of it or don't know it, like I've seen a lot of program directors get fired over the years. I've seen a lot of DJs get fired, and these things happen not because they're not good at what they do, but this is a business where you have to have listeners and people listening to what they're familiar with, and that's where the story comes from. So, even with artists that I look at, it's for people that don't feel entitled. Like nobody owes you anything in this business. So a lot of people that just started to know who I am, they don't know how hard I work. Like I really came from the bottom to get my position. Like LaRon didn't just say, "Here, this my man's, hire him." Like I had to put as much as I was around LaRon like this, but I had to really put in the work, because it's like credit. Once you vouch for somebody, like they have to really stand for what you're saying, and if not, it's hard for you to vouch for somebody else. So for me, I've learned through this business that I don't attach my name to everybody. And it's not because I don't rock with them, not because I don't think they're talented, but are you really going to do this work? This is a hard job. People think that it's easy as an artist, easy as a producer. Like, no, this is a lot of work. This is a lot of early mornings, a lot of late nights, a lot of sacrifices. If you get into it with your girlfriend, that don't mean you're not going to do this radio interview. If you're supposed to be on a live with Terry at 3 o'clock, you're not going to say, oh, I forgot, I'm getting on at 3:15. Like, somebody that has morals and understand that your word is everything. And this business, like I said, I think it's more relationship with money than anything. And people tend to mess up relationships because they have this mentality of I, or you owe me. And nobody owes none of us shit, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you don't have the work ethic and you don't have the stand with all to work for something and know that it's not gonna happen overnight, you know, you got them lucky stories that happen overnight, but a lot of those don't last. The things that I've seen last is the people that's willing to do the work and wait their turn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a put me first, put me be this because my record is better. Like, there's a lot of work that come with that. There's a lot of marketing that come with that. There's a lot of things that lead to play. And I'm a firm believer that everything is time. And if I would have got this job a year earlier, I don't think I would have been good at it. If Brian didn't get a hold of me when he did, I think I would have got fired. You know what I'm saying? So I think everything is about time, and then things come into your life, and you have to accept that, understand that until it's your turn. Just do the work. And I think the work always tells the story at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So I
agree.
Like that.
Yeah. I did notice I see some comments scrolling, and we are going to take some questions, people. I see some good ones coming in, so we will get to that for sure, as we do want to answer as many questions as possible. Somebody mentioned about taking the politics out of it, and I just have to say that's not even realistic. It's not even a real thought process, because I'd like to replace the word politics with business, right? It's not really. Sometimes it's politics, sure, but what trumps politics at all times is business. Is playing your record good business for the radio station? Is a record label signing you as an artist good business for the label? The reality is this: both of us are working for companies who are for-profit businesses. Nobody here is 501c3, right? So my responsibility as program director, operations manager for Radio 1 here in Houston with my 4 stations is to make sure that I put together a product that will attract the largest amount of listeners in a specific demographic for the purpose of getting ratings, to generate revenue for the radio station and therefore the company. Now, that does not mean that I'm not personally passionate about music. That doesn't mean that I'm not personally passionate about your product as an artist. I have many people I'm passionate about and been very fortunate and blessed to be able to break a long list of artists out of Houston. Everybody's not on the list. And if I'm going to put a record in, a playlist is the mathematical rotation. This is a business. It's a mathematical rotation. There's a finite number of spots. And if we're going to put your record in over the Drake that just dropped, that everybody's already vibing to because of the TikTok videos, if I'm putting you in who are relatively unsigned, unknown, etc., and your business isn't handled, you haven't created a story for yourself, I'm putting my job at risk. I understand that, and there are oftentimes, I have done that, right? I have stepped out, well, not for someone who hasn't handled the business. I'll never step out for somebody like that. But I have put a record in from an up-and-coming artist like Colleen Crusoe, and J-Dee, you may or may not know Colleen. She's an artist from here in Houston. She's got a record that's really bubbling on the adult urban chart. And so we're playing that at Magic 102.1. I'm putting that record in over Tamia. I'm putting that record in over a HER record. I'm putting that record in over, a Daniel Caesar, this or that, a John Legend record, right? That's a conscientious decision that I've made as a program director to support this record, and she has the story and the work ethic to back up the support that she's getting. So that's a conscientious decision. Flip side, same thing for a label. You as an artist, you as a team, you as an organization, even if it's just on a distribution level, you have got to be good business for the record label. If you are not good business for the record label, you're going to get to an expiration point on your situation and you're going to get dropped, or you're going to get shelved, which is the worst. It's my pet peeve when an artist gets signed to a label, and because you're such a nightmare to work with, they shelf you, which means you're signed to them, which means you can't go out and really do anything for yourself, because you've been such a knucklehead, you've been shelved, and they're just going to sit on you. And then you're going to have to do the legal hoops to try to get out of a situation. So it's a tough deal. So Can you give an example of a project that you've worked on that's been a labor of love that you've seen? You know, you believed in it. It was a hard, long road, but you actually got there on it. What would be a good example of something like that for you?
Um, it's been a number of them. That's the thing I love about Empire. You know, we really got work records. That's what we call them.
Yeah.
And we want to do them. We don't have the Cardi B records, the Big Bill records, but we got the work records. But we also got the work artists. I love them. You know, you got a Eric Bellinger, for instance, which is one of my not only favorite artists, but favorite human beings in the world. You know, and this is a man that can easily stick his chest out and say, I've done this, I've worked with this, I have this, but he's also the person that I can call and say, all right, well, Terry needs you for this and needs some drops. And when you get the plaques, make sure you do this. Like again, he's a person of service. He understands that nobody owes him anything. So when we go on these promo tours, this is a long grind, a lot of long car rides, a lot of early mornings, late nights. And because he did the things that everyone asked for him to do, every radio station, every product manager, Brian, Gazi, everything, we saw a record that was doing okay, go gold, and followed up with the next one. He gave us a story to say, well, this last one he did, the goat, it went gold. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of records, like I said, it all depends on the work ethic and what you're doing because it's a lot of good records out here, right? Like Terry, you get a lot of good records, and they're good. But what separates that with a lot of people is the work ethic and how much you appreciate somebody stepping out and doing this for you. Because a DJ doesn't have to play your records; he got a million records to choose from. A label doesn't have to work your record or give you a budget to move around. You know, so Eric Bellinger has been one of those people for me. I've seen the same thing with Afro B. I've seen the same thing with Rotimi, which we got Rotimi work his ass off. He's not too big to do anything. If we call him and say like this is needed, as long as it makes sense, it gets done. You know, they're not people that's gonna let you take advantage of them, but they do what needs to be done to get the job done.
Hmm. Yeah, and I love Eric. He was such a joy when he was here. He was so kind to the entire team. One of our sales assistants was like super duper fan, and he was made sure that she was able to get a premium seat at the show, and just super kind. Okay, so let's take a few questions because they're really coming in, and I see some really good ones. So let's see here, and I'll scroll back because I see some back in the feed. So let me start with this. It's here we go. It's real TV. You got material loaded up, music visuals. What's the best way to release your material? Structure, platform, and timing. So you've got music, you've got videos. What's the best way to release your material?
Again, it all depends. So the one thing I've learned from being an Empire is that every market is different. You know, so and sometimes you want to focus, and it all depends on what your budget is. You want to focus on a region or a market or a per se because something that's hot in Detroit isn't going to be hot in Houston and vice versa. Like I went to school in Texas, and the one thing that I learned is Texas has its own lane of music that we've never heard in Detroit. But if you come out of Texas, it's going crazy, things of that nature. So you need to figure out where analytically where are you strong at, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
I would focus on, and because people do the say cheese TVs, they do the academics. Sometimes I think you're way too early to play that type of stuff. Like cater to the people that's catering to you first, and get them to become fanatics. Change them from fans to fanatics to where they're just automatically raising a flag for everything you do. Release some material, structure, platform, time wise. And again, a lot of that stuff, platform is budget. Again, a lot of people are doing stuff for free. People are already talking about it. There's chatter and a conversation about it. They're charging you, so it's like, what's your budget to put it on some of these platforms? And just make sure that you got a rollout. I think if you know what you're doing and where you're going, it's a lot easier to get there. A lot of people just got music and they just only thing they know is say cheese and baller alert and these type of things. Like, know what you need to do. If you need to hit the road and do a meet and greet with the Go DJs or the coalition DJs in these markets, just so they know your name, just so they heard your music. Because 9 times out of 10, if it comes to a Terry or comes to me or come to anybody else, I'm gonna call the people that I know in those markets and just see like, is this record doing anything? And the worst thing that you ever want to have as an artist to say like, no, I never heard of him, I never heard of this record, I never even met him. You know what I'm saying? To me, you should always know who the go-to people are in these markets. And again, that's not always a radio. Like it's that you
Nope.
get to radio. To me, that's the last thing you should ever try to do because once your record played on the radio, it's a clock that's ticking. Like you can look and say this first got played last year, and if you see it got played last year and only got 4 spins in a year, it's kind of like you know what it is. So the go-to people might be who's the star basketball player at this high school, or who's the go-to person at this college that can get my record moving around this college. And when these people go home, they taking my music back to Oregon or Vermont or whatever they're from, you know. So just attacking just strong points of people that can become fanatics with the music.
I think that's a beautiful point. I will add to this. Visual and audio should be ready at the same time. In this day and age, everything is visual. If you're waiting to put out a visual, you're making a mistake.
Yeah,
Get
sure.
everything prepared up front. Put your song and your visual out on all available free platforms immediately and at the same time. And then don't be impatient about your project. I would say this for sure. A lot of times, because we're all ADD, I'm a little less ADD, and so is J-Dee, because we have to have tenacity with projects and patience. But a lot of times, the artist wants to flood the market with 50 records, and you're not letting anything get an organic story. You're not letting anything grow. So step back and decide, what do you think the project or the song is that's going to be your strongest shot if you're really looking for ultimately radio airplay, for example, right? Everybody's not seeking radio airplay. A huge part of Empire's background was not radio. Ghazi did not bring radio people. He didn't bring a Morris and a B. Sampson in until much later in the game. He was already very successful. He was managing artists from a digital standpoint. Artists were getting many bags, very successful, homes, taking care of families, doing all of that without the radio picture. So radio in this day and age tends to be the last piece of the puzzle. So make sure you're prepared across all platforms and put your stuff out on all free platforms immediately. And then just don't overly flood the market. If you're seeking radio airplay or if you're seeking a label situation, you need momentum behind one single, and then if a label is going to come to you, they're going to say, okay, well, let me hear the other music that you have. You should share that. Right. And then I may be interested, hey, what else do you have? I'm happy to listen to it, but I'm definitely listening into the single first. J-Dee knows, like, I'm flooded with, I don't even know how many singles in a week. I don't have a lot of time to listen to albums. Right. So knowing what you want, what your best shot is, and then taking that shot is the best way. So Vonyetta is now, when you take a chance on a relatively unsigned artist for airplay, what's your suggestion of a length of time for that? Oh, that's a beautiful question. So here's the rule of thumb. We have something called call-out research in radio. It's an antique title for a modern thing, right? So what research does or allows for program directors is after a particular number of, quote, spins. And what's a spin? A spin is the number of times your song is exposed on radio in a marketplace. So there's a number of spins, and then what we do is we send a 10-second clip. We send a survey out, and it's a 10-second clip, usually the hook of your song, that we send to the audience. And this is why I tell people, if you're trying to get radio, you best better have a song with a hook, and the hook's got to be catchy, because that's the thing that somebody's going to hear when it comes to call out, right? Most people gravitate toward the hook. So that hook gets sent out to the audience, and the audience rates the record. Do they like it? Are they familiar with it? Passion level about the record? Are they tired of it? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll usually let a song go a few rounds and call out before I bail out if it's not catching on. In addition to the call out piece, there's also, I have any number of tools at my disposal and discretion, the same as J-Dee. So the information he's sending me, oftentimes I also have access to. Mediabase, BDS, Shazam, iTunes, SoundScan for the market. I personally, as a program director, I'm interested in knowing what's on the pulse of Houston. So I'm only really interested in the pulse of my city. And then I know, like DJs, like my entire team is a report and a system of getting out here trying to stay on the pulse. So when we go, well, when there was high school in session, we're out at the high school and the kids are asking for a song, they're bringing that back to me. So I would say there is a finite number of time, or a finite amount of time, that I would take a chance on a song that just doesn't catch. What that is depends on the other things. If I see a little movement in particular areas, I'm more willing to take a risk a little bit longer. Bonnie Marie, definitely taking notes as a BMA student. I want to learn every angle of the media business. Very wise. Let's see. Lots of love for J-Dee. We love that. I'm scrolling through here to get some questions. J-Dee, if you see something, feel free to jump on.
I see Brian out here. Brian Sampson, what's up?
Birthday, Brian.
Birthday. He ain't asking my birthday phone call though.
Okay, let's see. B. Sampson, describe how the current Detroit has become an influencer market, and what the culture and rich history of hip hop is, of hip hop to house and dance.
Well, with Detroit, and I'll say this, it was a long time coming, but I think that again we kind of again we was talking about relationship business and credit. So I think we had some great artists that gave us a chance initially, and they kind of fumbled the ball, and a lot of that isn't strictly on the artist so much. It's on the team. I mean, if you don't, I came from a management world where the first artist I was a part of, I was his road manager, a dude named Ray Ray. We got to deal with T.I. and Hustle back when they were real big. And we were new managers, so we really didn't know what we were doing or how to actually manage that situation. So we played a big part in fumbling that ball. You know, a lot of people tend to point the fingers at just the artist. It's your team, you know, and that's why I tell everybody, like, a team. B. Simone just made a post the other day about her setting a goal to make $1 million by a certain day that she did it. And the thing I loved about it is she said that she couldn't have did none of this without her team. Nothing functions. Even Terry's the boss, but nothing functions at that radio station if JQ isn't doing his job.
Here, bud. Ah, fuck. Here.